Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for millions of years, but some were far more terrifying than others. Some had razor-sharp teeth, others relied on brutal hunting tactics, and a few boasted lightning-fast speed. These ancient predators were true nightmares for anything unlucky enough to cross their path. In this video, we're looking into the most terrifying dinosaurs that ever walked the Earth and how they earned their fearsome reputations and dominated the Jurassic world. The terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex, often called the King of Scary, is as long as a bus and as tall as a two-story building. That's T-Rex for you, over 40 feet long and weighing up to 14 tons. Its skull alone could weigh as much as a piano. But it's not just the size that makes it scary, it's what it could do with that size. Let's talk teeth. The T-Rex had about 60 of them, each one as long as a banana, and sharp enough to slice through bone like a hot knife through butter. These teeth weren't just for show. They were backed by the strongest bite force of any land animal that ever lived. Scientists say its jaws could crush down with as much as 12,000 pounds per square inch, enough to bite through a car like it's a tin can. And here's where it gets worse. This dino wasn't dumb. In fact, it had a brain that was twice the size of most other dinosaurs of its size. That means sharper senses, better memory, and possibly strategic hunting. It had amazing eyesight and an even better sense of smell. Think bloodhound-level sniffing skills. It could pick up the scent of prey or a carcass from miles away. Whether it was hunting or scavenging, nothing escaped its radar. T-Rex walked on two thick, muscular legs. Those legs weren't made for marathons, but they could carry it up to 20 miles per hour in short, terrifying sprints. That's faster than the average human. And when you're running for your life, every second counts. Some paleontologists think T-Rex wasn't always a solo killer. There's evidence that these giants might have hunted in groups, which is a horrifying thought. Imagine one T-Rex is scary. Now think about 3 or 4 working together. That's not just a predator, that's a death squad. One of the most famous T-Rex fossils ever found is named Sue. She was discovered in South Dakota back in the 80s, and you can still see her at the Field Museum in Chicago. Sue is 13 feet tall at the hip and 42 feet long from nose to tail. Her skull alone weighs 600 pounds. When she was alive, she probably weighed as much as a fully loaded RV. T-Rex lived around 68 million years ago, mostly in what's now North America. But even this terrifying beast couldn't survive the asteroid that slammed into Earth 66 million years ago. That event wiped out most of the dinosaurs, including T-Rex. And get this, scientists still argue about how many types of T-Rex there actually were. Some say it was just one species. Others believe it might have been 3: T-Rex, T. imperator, and T. regina. And just recently, in 2024, a study suggested a whole new species, T. microyensis. Whether it was one kind or several, one thing's for sure, T-Rex ruled the land. Its name literally means tyrant lizard king, and boy, did it earn that title.
But we're just getting started.
If you thought T-Rex was scary, wait until you meet the next creature. A river monster with a crocodile's smile. The Spinosaurus is a 50-foot creature, and it may be the largest carnivorous dinosaur to ever exist. Yes, even bigger than T-Rex. Tipping the scales between 7 to 20 tons and stretching up to 59 feet, Spinosaurus wasn't just a giant. It was a giant with options. Land, river, swamp, it didn't care. It hunted where others wouldn't dare. Recent discoveries flipped the script on this dinosaur. It wasn't just a landwalker with a flashy back fin. It was semi-aquatic, equipped with tattle-like tails, dense bones for underwater control, and nostrils moved higher up its snout so it could breathe while submerged, watching you. Its skull was 6 feet long, shaped like a crocodile's, filled with conical teeth perfect for gripping slippery prey. Built on 6-foot neural spines, like jagged masts from a nightmare ship. No one knows exactly what it was for. Maybe to attract mates, maybe to intimidate rivals. But when that sail cuts through the morning mist, you're not asking questions, but rather running. Spinosaurus was a ghost in the water, stealthy, massive, and unpredictable. Its limbs were stronger and longer than T-Rex's, with huge claws that could grasp or gut. And unlike most theropods, it may have walked on all 4s at times, adding a disturbing, unnatural vibe to its movements. Sure, its diet leaned toward fish, but don't get too comfortable. This wasn't some overgrown stork. Spinosaurus teeth have been found embedded in the bones of pterosaurs, and some stomach remains point to dinosaur meat on the menu too. In pop culture, Spinosaurus made its big, bloody debut in Jurassic Park 3, where it did the unthinkable. It killed a T-Rex. That scene alone cemented its terrifying reputation, even if it exaggerated its land-based aggression. Documentaries like Planet Dinosaur later brought a more science-backed version to screens, a river beast with alien anatomy, deadly in silence. Where T-Rex is brute force, Spinosaurus is nightmare fuel. It doesn't charge, it lurks. You won't hear it coming. You won't see it until the water splits. And it's already too late. It's not as aggressive as T-Rex on land. It may not bite through bone, but that doesn't make it less scary. It makes it worse. The next creature, though a herbivore, is quite a slasher and wouldn't hesitate to react when cornered. Tyrannosaurus stood as one of the most bizarre and unsettling dinosaurs to walk the earth. At over 33 feet long and weighing as much as 6 tons, it rivaled even the mighty T-Rex in size, but not in ferocity. Unlike its meat-eating cousins, this massive theropod had a body built for browsing, not biting. Yet what it lacked in predatory behavior, it made up for in its terrifying anatomy. 3 massive claws, each stretching up to 3 feet long, curved like sides and sharper than survival demanded. Its frame was just as unnerving: long neck, small head, beaked mouth, wide potbelly, and thick, feathered limbs. This strange, almost mythic silhouette looked less like a dinosaur and more like a nightmare born from mismatched parts. Its massive belly and broad hips suggested a slow, lumbering gait through dense, forested environments in what is now Mongolia. In such tight spaces, those claws were not just tools for pulling down vegetation. They were a wall of defense, capable of slashing at any threat reckless enough to get close. Though primarily herbivorous, Tyrannosaurus did not play the role of a passive giant. With no pack to fall back on and predators roaming nearby, it likely stood its ground when provoked. Few creatures would willingly test the limits of those claws. Its lineage ties it to carnivorous ancestors, leaving open the unsettling possibility of omnivorous behavior, a scavenger when desperate, a slasher when cornered. Modern media has amplified its already eerie presence. In Jurassic World Dominion, it was reimagined as a hulking, silent predator, blind but brutal. While inaccurate, the portrayal stuck. Documentaries and games now lean into its monstrous design, emphasizing the psychological fear they evoke. A creature too strange to understand, too dangerous to dismiss. Unlike T-Rex, whose terror lies in raw power, or Spinosaurus, whose threat comes from amphibious unpredictability, Tyrannosaurus's scariness is steeped in the uncanny. It didn't stalk with speed, it didn't crush bones, but the moment those claws rise, slowly and deliberately, there's no mistaking the threat. Tyrannosaurus wasn't a killer by nature, but if forced to choose between fight or flight, it will never run. Let's move to the next creature that, despite its size, has great speed and can reach 20 to 25 miles per hour. Giganotosaurus was a land-bound nightmare, one of the largest terrestrial predators ever discovered. Stretching up to 43 feet long and weighing between 6 and 13 tons, it rivaled or exceeded T-Rex in length, though built less robustly. Its skull alone measured over 5 feet long, packed with serrated, blade-like teeth, built not for crushing, but for slicing deep into flesh. This predator wasn't about brute force. It was a slasher, fast, efficient, and terrifying. Unlike the bone-crushing bite of T-Rex, Giganotosaurus used speed and precision. Capable of reaching 20 to 25 miles per hour, it was likely among the fastest large theropods. Strong legs and a lighter build gave it the edge in pursuit, while 3 sharp claws on each hand and foot added to its deadly toolkit. Each limb was armed for the kill, claws for gripping and tearing, jaws for bleeding prey dry. This wasn't just a hunter, it was a precision engine of death. Its Cretaceous domain was the floodplains of what is now Argentina, nearly 100 million years ago. Fossil evidence points to Giganotosaurus actively preying on other giants, leaving gouged bones and torn remains in its wake. Even more terrifying is the possibility of pack behavior. Though not confirmed for Giganotosaurus itself, its close relative Mosasaurus has been found in group formations, sparking theories that these predators may have coordinated attacks. giants hunting giants in deadly formation. As a solitary killer, it was horrifying. As a pack hunter, it was apocalyptic. Giganotosaurus's fear factor lies in its function over flair. Unlike Spinosaurus with its sail or Therizinosaurus with its claws, Giganotosaurus lacked strange ornamentation. But the absence of flair only adds to the threat. It looks exactly like what it is, a pure predator. There's no distraction, no misleading features, just a towering slicing machine built to take down the largest animals that ever lived. Its presence in Jurassic World Dominion solidified its image as a terrifying rival to T-Rex, elevating its public profile. Though it doesn't yet carry the cultural weight of its North American counterpart, its depiction as a relentless apex predator gives it a rising, fearsome reputation in documentaries, games, and media. Audiences are drawn to its scale, speed, and predatory role, branding it as a terrifying force of nature. Even without the mythologized history of T-Rex or the exotic mystery of Spinosaurus. In a prehistoric face-off, Giganotosaurus doesn't rely on spectacle. It relies on its ability to hunt, bleed, and bring down the largest prey on the planet. That cold efficiency is what makes it truly frightening. Next is a creature that prefers slicing into flesh rather than stomping on bones and is often referred to as the shark-toothed slasher. Carcharodontosaurus was a monstrous predator reaching up to 44 feet in length and tipping the scales at 15 tons. With a name meaning shark-toothed lizard, it earned that title with 8-inch serrated teeth built not to crush, but to carve. Each bite could open deep, fatal wounds, shredding flesh with the efficiency of a chainsaw. Its skull, stretching nearly 5 feet, housed jaws powerful enough to disable massive prey, though not quite in the bone-crushing league of T-Rex. Unlike the stubby arms of T-Rex, it wielded longer, 3-fingered claws, a brutal bonus in close combat. Running at estimated speeds of 20 to 25 miles per hour, it was no sluggish giant, especially deadly when closing in on lumbering herbivores. Roaming late Cretaceous North Africa, a vote 194 million years ago, Carcharodontosaurus ruled humid floodplains and river-rich habitats, sharing space and sometimes prey with Spinosaurus. Its teeth and skull design suggest it preferred slicing into flesh over chomping on bone. Specializing in deep lacerations that bled prey out, it likely hunted massive herbivores like sauropods, though it may have also taken advantage of a scavenging opportunity. Some related species hint at potential group behavior, but direct evidence is lacking, which points toward it being a solitary predator. Alone, it was terrifying enough. There was no safety in silence when this giant stalked the land. Documentaries such as Planet Dinosaur have spotlighted its shark-like teeth and predator status, while games and dino enthusiast content often frame it as a rival to the king itself. It lacks T-Rex's Hollywood clout or Spinosaurus's sailback silhouette, but what it lacks in flash, it makes up for in ferocity. Its reputation is raw, rising, and rooted in sheer destructive capability. A giant carnivore with the tools and size to dominate its ecosystem. The next creature is a lethal package of both size and brutality. Let's check out the Utah Raptor. Utah Raptor was the largest and most heavily built of all dromaeosaurs, a predator that combined bulk, brains, and brutality into one lethal package. At up to 23 feet long and weighs over 1,000 pounds. What made Utah Raptor particularly terrifying wasn't just its size, but the tools it brought to the hunt. Its most infamous weapon was the oversized, sickle-shaped claw on each foot, measuring up to 15 inches, used not for walking, but for slicing into flesh like a meat hook. Unlike Spinosaurus's water-bound lifestyle or the brute force bite of T-Rex, Utah Raptor relied on calculated precision. With strong legs and a muscular frame, it could likely run up to 20 to 30 miles per hour in short bursts, ideal for ambushes. Its powerful arms ended in curved claws for pinning down prey, and its skull, although boxy and thick, held serrated teeth for gripping meat, not crunching bone. Its feathers, inferred from related species, likely gave it a bird-like appearance. Utah Raptor roamed what is now Utah during the early Cretaceous, around 126 million years ago. Its anatomy suggests it was built for short, explosive attacks, not marathon chases. And if the pack hunting theories based on fossil beds with multiple individuals hold true, it may have overwhelmed prey through coordinated strikes. While giants like Giganotosaurus relied on sheer mass, Utahraptor brought strategy and speed to the table. Its intelligence, indicated by a relatively large brain, would have made it more than just a brute. It was a tactical killer. Let's look at the Carnotaurus, which looks like a bull-like creature and a nightmare in motion. Carnotaurus was a predator that didn't need bulk to be terrifying. At 25 to 30 feet long and weighing around 1–2 tons, it wasn't the biggest theropod, but it was among the fastest. With muscular hind limbs built for speed, it could hit estimated speeds of 30–35 miles per hour, making it one of the quickest large predators. Its most chilling feature? A pair of thick horns above its eyes gives it the demonic appearance of a charging bull. These horns likely serve multiple purposes: bashing rivals, intimidating prey, or simply asserting dominance. Its skull, around 2 feet long, housed serrated teeth for slicing, though its bite force wasn't as devastating as a T-Rex. But what it lacked in power, it made up for in precision and speed. Unlike the aquatic Spinosaurus or the feathered Utahraptor, Carnotaurus was built purely for terrestrial speed and close-quarters ambushes. Its tiny arms, smaller even than T-Rex's, were virtually useless, placing full emphasis on jaws, legs, and brute head power. In pop culture, Carnotaurus has earned cult status. Disney's Dinosaur, 2000, cast it as a relentless villain, while its brief yet memorable appearance in Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, showed off its speed and ferocity. It appears in games like Ark: Survival Evolved. And while it lacks the blockbuster fame of T-Rex or the bizarre claws of Tyrannosaurus, Carnotaurus's lean, horned, no-nonsense profile gives it a unique, grounded menace that fans haven't forgotten. Last on the list is the Allosaurus, a land predator that hunted with precision. Allosaurus wasn't the biggest killer. With its serrated teeth, clawed hands, and disturbing speed, Allosaurus wasn't a brute, it was a blade. At 30 to 40 feet long and up to 4 tons, Allosaurus was lighter than Cretaceous juggernauts like T-Rex or Giganotosaurus. But that made it faster and arguably scarier. It didn't crush bones like T-Rex or fish like Spinosaurus. Allosaurus was a land predator that hunted with precision. Its 3-foot skull was lined with blade-like teeth made to slice and bleed, not crunch. Some scientists even believe it attacks by slashing downward with its jaws like a living guillotine. But what really sets Allosaurus apart? Its arms. Unlike the laughably tiny forelimbs of T-Rex or Carnotaurus, Allosaurus had 3-fingered hands with 6-inch claws capable of grappling and ripping into prey. And its legs? Built for pursuit, biomechanics suggest it could hit speeds of 20 to 30 miles per hour. Fossil sites have uncovered multiple Allosaurus remains in one spot, hinting at potential group hunting behavior. That makes it even scarier. One slashing predator is terrifying. A coordinated ambush pack? Nightmare fuel. Allosaurus doesn't get the Hollywood spotlight like T-Rex or Spinosaurus, but it's always lurking in the background, fast, sharp, and deadly. In Walking with Dinosaurs, it's shown for what it truly was, the apex slicer of the Jurassic. These dinosaurs weren't just ancient creatures, they were perfectly evolved predators, each with their own terrifying strengths. Some crushed bones with unimaginable force, others slashed flesh with razor-sharp claws, while a few stalked silently, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They ruled a world where only the strongest survived, yet even today, their story isn't finished. New discoveries constantly reshape what we know. Could there still be undiscovered species, even more dangerous than the ones we've met? Might there be predators larger than Spinosaurus, smarter than Deinonychus, or faster than Utahraptor? The ancient Earth still hides many of its darkest secrets. While movies have brought us thrilling images of roaring T-Rex and deadly raptors, reality often proves even more fascinating and more terrifying. These creatures weren't monsters from fiction, they were real, ruthless hunters that once walked this planet. Now imagine, if you were suddenly dropped into the age of dinosaurs, which of these prehistoric predators would you fear the most? Would you run from Giganotosaurus's towering frame, or freeze at the sight of Spinosaurus's lurking shadow? Share your answer in the comments below. Let's see who you'd rather not meet face to face. And if you enjoyed this dive into the world of ancient predators, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives into Earth's terrifying past. The prehistoric world still holds countless untold horrors, and we're just getting started.